Oh, we're up and rolling now with the 2019 season for the Bassmaster Elite Series, and our anglers have rolled out of Florida for the second stop, actually in the foothills of the Appalachians, the Chattahoochee River and Lake Lanier. Welcome to the Bassmaster Elite Series. Welcome to the Toyota Bassmaster Studios. I'm Tommy Sanders here with Davey Height, and such a jaw-dropping display we had on the St. John's last time. Epic tournament with giant Florida bass, great competition, but now we got a new look going here on Lake Lanier.
Well, what a start for the 2019 season, Tommy. Rick Clunn winning on that final day with that monster stringer, catching those two monster bass that he needed to be able to have that comeback. So how do you one up that? Well, maybe not with bigger Florida strain bass, but with some awesome spotted bass. Lake Lanier has become quite popular, the destination now if you want to go catch big spotted bass. Lots of numbers and lots of size. Fishing deep, fishing clear, the guys are going to have to pull off the 65, 70, 80-pound braid and put on their finesse rods and reels and line, that sort of thing. Fishing a lot deeper. We'll see some guys catching them shallow, but I think the deep fishermen will prevail.
We got some anglers we're going to have our eye on from the very first day of competition here on Lake Lanier. How about Chris Zaldain? Sometimes thought of as a big fish specialist. He can use his electronics and catch them deep, that's for sure. Paul Mueller, dangerous pretty much everywhere. The Bassmaster Elite Series has a tournament. We know he'll do good in the deeper water here. And Jeff Gustafson, one of those superstars from Canada, who we saw a couple of them who proved they could catch them shallow, Davey, last time. This guy can catch them deep.
Yeah, he's an expert with electronics, fishing deep. Not a lot of grass in the area of Canada that he's from, but certainly an expert with smallmouth bass, clear water, finesse, drop shot. He's right in his wheelhouse here, Tommy.
Yes.
19 pounds, 2 ounces, 19.2, and Jeff Gustafson is your brand new leader. Get loud for Gussie, 19 pounds, 2 ounces.
Definitely at the upper end of expectations for a single day's fishing, 19 plus for Jeff Gustafson. Day two, though, a different story. Tennessee's David Mullins doing something completely different, David.
Well, David Mullins loves to throw a crankbait. We all know that. He's used to throwing a crankbait, typically deeper than this, but with all the rains, part of Lake Lanier is stained, has some dirty water, and some of these spotted bass are living shallow. Dave Mullins is throwing a DT6 demon colored and getting it done. Multiple fish in a row, just back-to-back casts.
I think this might be a good one here. Yeah, this is a good one. Might be the best one of the day. Yeah, that's a big fatty. Look at that sucker. Man, he's strong. He's got it right outside the mouth. There's more with him on the graph. There's a bunch more with him. There's a little school right here. Nope, got one hook. Daggone it, got one hook. Probably gonna get one shot at him and that's it. He's still hot. Come on, baby, stay on, stay pegged. Stay pegged. Stay pegged. Stay pegged right here. Stay pegged. Stay pegged. Yes! That's what I'm talking about.
19 pounds and 6 ounces with 37 pounds and 2 ounces. Say hello to your brand new leader, David Mullins.
How about 37 pounds for 10 spotted bass? That's strong even by Lake Lanier standards. So David Mullins takes the lead into day number 3. But day number 3, continuing to adapt to these anglers, and maybe the best of them all, Chris Zaldain.
Ooh, it feels big. Found this spot yesterday. It's a new spot. There was a lot of fish on it. First cast with a spark shad. I got a bite. Gosh, I wish I could drop down on those fish. Oh yeah, good, stay on there. Oh, stay on there. Oh, stay on there, that's a big one. Oh, stay on there. Come here, come here. Yes, baby. Woo! That's a good start, man. Whew. There's a fatty, dude, and there's a bunch down there. Whew.
Well, we've seen Chris Zaldane every morning catch a big fish, and that's important to come out with a good start here. It's going to take 16, 17 pounds a day to win this event. Everybody thought that coming in. Chris Zaldane has been able to do it the first 3 days.
It's like that first day, man, when it was sunny like this, they bit super funny. They bit weird, they barely mouthed it. A lot of guys I talked to at weigh-ins said the same thing. They're barely getting their, crankbaits and their plugs and their whatever bait they were throwing, they're just barely getting it. Matter of fact, a lot of the swim baits, those 3-inch spark shads I've been throwing, I've been, just rotating through them. And I looked at some of them last night, and a lot of them had teeth marks just behind the hook point. They'd bite. There's one. There he is. Oh boy, that's heavy. That's real heavy. Oh boy. Oh yeah, that's a big one. He's got a couple with it too. Look at that. He's got one with it. Okay, here it comes. You see him on the graph in 20. Dude, that's a digger. Holy. Oh my gosh, there's another one with it. There's my leader, not. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's a nice one. Come here. Oh, no. Yes, that's a big fat one. Let's do it.
5 fish looking for 18 pounds even to take the lead into Championship Sunday. 18 pounds, 4 ounces. 18-4, and the Zaldangerous one is once again leading here at the Toyota Bassmaster Elite at Lake Lanier.
Man, I love Lake Lanier. I love the state of Georgia. The fans are awesome. The goal is 20 pounds tomorrow, and I think we can seal this thing up.
I would love to see it. You think he's going to get it done tomorrow? We'll find out. Let's hear it for your leader, Chris Zaldane.
Well, Chris Zaldane, his 7th year with the Bassmaster Elite Series, going to take the lead into day number 4 at this Toyota Bassmaster Elite. Just ounces ahead of David Mullins, 5 ounces back. Paul Mueller, a pound back of that, and Keith Combs also within 2 pounds. It is good, tight competition, just like we expected at Lake Lanier.
The Toyota Bassmaster Elite at Lake Lanier is brought to you by Humminbird, Minn Kota, Talon, and by Mercury.
Well, the days have gone by very quickly. 3 of the 4 days of fishing here at this Toyota Bassmaster Elite on Lake Lanier in Georgia are in the books. 10 anglers are left to go on this final day, and inside every boat it's a combination of nerves and ferocious planning for this day. One more day of changing with the conditions.
I've only been here a couple times, but it's unbelievable fishery. It's got giant spotted bass. I caught a 5.6. I've caught one other 5-pounder, so it was right there with my personal best.
I mean, this is what we all strive for, is that, it's so hard to get here. And at this point, I don't really want to think about winning. I just want to think about going out there and catching them today. We'll see where the chips fall.
Here we go, day 4. The lead means nothing on Lake Lanier. The weather conditions have been changing every single day, and I talked to a lot of guys in practice, so this will be our 7th day on Lake Lanier, and here we are in February. The weather's changing. Most of the guys here on this dock at takeoff had their best days in practice when the weather was rainy, nasty, cold, rainy and windy. That's when spotted bass bite, especially this time of year. So I'm fully expecting at least one 20-pound bag to be weighed in today. Hopefully it's me. The key again today on day 4 is to keep an open mind, stick and move, in and out, deep, shallow, keep mixing it up, and hopefully catch that 20-pound bag. Again, I mean, these are just super long presentations. It's cold this morning. The water temperature is 48 degrees. Everything's real slow. Came off, we barely got it. Eat it again. Whew, that was one of those, yeah, biting it funny. Fish came off. Got it. There's probably a bunch down there. Came off. We're biting it weird this morning. There's 2 or 3 down there. A little chilly start.
The only thing that's been consistent this week is change. Whether you're fishing shallow like David Mullins or fishing deeper like Chris Zaldane, change has been what you have to do as a fisherman this week if you're going to be in contention.
There he is, biggin'. Biggin'. Oh, get out. You got one hook underneath the chin. Look at that one hook. Oh, come here. Yes. Trying to get the boat away from this point, fight him at the same time.
David Mullins' 5th year as an Elite Series angler already made the cut at Palatka, so his season is off to a great start, being as he's in the final 10. On this final day, also in there and very high in the standings, is Paul Mueller. He looks like he's back up fishing shallow, Davey.
Well, he's farther back than we've seen him most of the event, but he's fishing in that ditch deeper. He's not fishing those boat docks, not fishing shallow. Here's the deal, Tommy. It's hard not to go back to where you caught the fish the day before. That's human nature as a fisherman. But the key here to win at Lake Lanier with these spotted bass is to move and to change with the weather every day.
Number 1.
How big?
Probably 2.5, I'm gonna guess. Good start. Yeah, it's like a little over 2.5.
Yeah, that is a good start for Paul Mueller, although he'd probably like for his fish to average a little bit more than that one right there. But on the board, that's important on this final day. Keith Combs, always a favorite just about anywhere we go. And super consistent this week. Look at that, 16.6 on day number 1, 16.15 on day number 2, and day 3, 16.5. So Keith Combs is just going to have his one breakout day today, and he certainly put himself in position to do that and get a win.
Number 1. I knew it had to happen soon. Spotted bass paradise morning today. Let's just pour it on them today. Pour it on them.
Keith Combs getting his day started off right, too. Everyone's on a schedule today, and you want to get as far ahead of as you possibly can. Yeah. Things are changing on the lake. The wind is blowing harder, and it's getting colder. We'll be right back.
Oh, yeah, baby. Yes.
Well, it was predicted to be a close one. Certainly started out this way this final day. Toyota Bassmaster Elite Series, 2nd stop of the year at Lake Lanier, not too far from Atlanta, Georgia. Of course, Chris Zaldane started with the lead today, but look at Paul Mueller. He's gotten up there and he's developed a pretty healthy lead right now. It's all about adapting. It's been that way every day of this tournament, Davey. A little bit different conditions every day, but just enough to mess some people up.
Well, spotted bass are notorious for moving, whether they have a weather change or not. But here is the perfect scenario, or the worst scenario for a lot of these fishermen. Cloudy, dreary day with very little wind. It's going to be more difficult than it should have been. Paul Mueller has been patient. He understands these fish. He understands the blueback herring a little bit. A lot of alewives in the area of the country he's from. He understands that these bait fish move and these spotted bass are moving also. Be patient with them, stay around the bait, use your electronics. He's used his Garmin, Panoptics a lot to see these fish, and he's the guy that is really getting it done today.
All right, well, Paul Mueller has definitely made some terrific strategic decisions throughout the course of this tournament. Let's hear from the man himself. What's been going through his mind through these 4 days on Lake Lanier?
Choked it. That's the right kind. 3.5. It just seems like those fish that are isolated are a lot tougher to catch when the wind's blowing like this, and so you have to fish the conditions. Now I have some areas that are out of the wind that I'm gonna go and video game fish later. I didn't do that yesterday, I should have. I kinda got stuck on a school of fish, and so today we're gonna move around more, we're gonna make better decisions, and then hopefully execute on the bites. But as soon as I reel this in, we're gonna go. I watched that one on the Panoptics, that was so cool. 40 foot away, they're moving around, so it's real hard, and I couldn't get that bubble and shake around, so I threw that swim bait, man, he just crushed it. They want to eat, that's the deal. I don't know how big he is, but man, they're just so full of energy. Ain't that big, but we'll take them for now. That is so cool to see that. There was 2 of them out in the middle here, and they're about 20 feet off the bottom. And they're moving, and then one came up on bait, and I just kind of followed him with that Panoptics. I threw that swim bait out there, and he just came up and crushed it.
Chris Zaldain, well known for his prowess with the electronics, but this guy pretty well known as well. People talk about his videos on that subject as being very, very enthralling. First look at Bill Weidler, second-year elite from Alabama. Missed the cut at the St. John's, but he's getting some back this week.
Got one on it right there, dude. Biggin'. Biggin', dude. God, what a head shake down there. Biggs moved in today. Got her. Bam. Number 2. Number 2, about a 2-pounder.
Bill Weidler off to a good start. Started in 5th place, now he's on up to 4th place. This angler from Alabama, we'll keep our eye on him, that is for sure. Definitely got our eye on the leader to start this day. Chris Zaldain had only a 5-ounce lead to start this day, but still no action. He's fallen to 5th.
Just casted to where I saw those fish about 20 minutes ago. I hooked that one, and they all came up and then just went straight down. So that cast was right on top of them here. So we're just gonna slow wind it out. Barely got it. They're not in a really, gangbusters mood. So we gotta go find that somewhere else. All right, let's do this.
So Chris Zaldain has had a masterful plan coming into this event every day, being slow and methodical on the lower end of the lake, the deep, clear water, and he's fishing slow. He's using a lightweight spark shad, fishing his swim bait out 30, 40, even 50 feet deep. He has to move around, but the problem with fishing this deep with a light bait, you don't have enough time to make many changes during the day.
Come here. Yes, there's number 1. Little chub. Little fat. It's number 1. wind changes up a little bit, and I got this whole ledge to work, about 100 yards of underwater point. Oh yeah, it's one of those fat ones, dude. That's number one.
Chris Zaldane, obviously he's got a lot of great places to fish. He needs some of them to fire pretty profoundly. That's a good start right there, cut some of the deficit. Still trailing Paul Mueller by a good bit, but the Zaldane family, this 2019 season, they are underway and ready for it all.
Trait's got her open here, and she asked for a couple swim baits. Some finesse swim baits here. One of a kind with love from one Zaldane to another. Can you look at me? Smile. Yeah, this is our first tournament of the 2019 season, and we drove from Texas to Florida, made it here in about 18 hours, and the very first tournament, the very first day, 2019, the Bassmaster Open starts tomorrow, so she's prepping up. I'm just here, I'm being the wife. I get to back her in tomorrow, send her off, go home, fold laundry, cook, clean, do the dishes, and she gets to fish all day, so it's a little bit of a role reversal. Well, this is day one of nearly 200 days on the road fishing the Elite Series in the Opens. Fired up the Traeger portable grill here, and we will be having burgers tonight. So I'm sure Trait will appreciate that. She's out there practicing right now, so right when she gets in, I'll have some nice warm meat for her. I know you smelt it. I know you smelt it. Good boy. Yeah, that's why you're as fat as you are. You know, I was that bank angler that looked up to, you know, your KVDs, you know, your Mike Iaconelli, reading about them in Bassmaster magazine, and I was learning how to fish and how to catch fish and pattern fish, and one step led to the other, and next thing you know, I'm fishing the Bassmaster Opens, and in 2012 was my Elite Series rookie campaign. That's pretty cool and pretty special to be around for 8 years and to survive, and I'm just excited to go into the 2019 season.
The Toyota Bassmaster Elite at Lake Lanier is brought to you by Nitro Boats, Abu Garcia, Berkeley, and by Triton Boats.
Final day here at Lake Lanier. What a beautiful place. All the development sort of set back by design here with the gorgeous shoreline. And we've certainly got a great show out of Lake Lanier this time around. Let's take a look at another great show going on. The Rookie of the Year, Dick's Sporting Goods. That's a big deal this year. And Lee Livesey had a very memorable performance for a lot of reasons down in the St. Johns River. He's got the lead right there, but not by much. That'll be a good race all through the year. Let's talk to a guy who's fished, well, a few years back on the Bassmaster Elite Series, and now he's back in the fold again. South Carolina's Todd Auten. Todd Auten having a good tournament here and having a good final day as well, currently in second.
There he is. Gonna be a big one. Don't do that. These things don't give up very easily. That's a fatty. Yoo-hoo. That's a 3+. God. We'll check out and see.
Well, you see Todd Auten getting it done way up the lake. You can tell the water clarity there is much less than down on the lower end where we see guys fishing very deep, just like Chris Zaldane, all the way down close to the dam. He has been there consistently the previous 3 days, leading the event coming into this final day. Slow and steady for Chris Zaldane.
I'm in the zone. I am in the zone, man. I mean, just slow winding the swimmer. 45, 55, ticking rocks, ticking wood. Dude, when you're making these 4 or 5 minute long casts, you have to have the confidence that they're down there. That's the biggest thing, is I know there's some fish on this ledge, somewhere along this ledge. There's a little break off the end of it, and then a large break off the face here where the wind's blowing into it. So important when I make that bomber cast to watch my line. It helps you visualize, you know, where that swim bait's crawling across the bottom there. When you have this giant bow in your line from the wind, you lose sensitivity. I mean, you could miss fish. Most importantly, the swim bait's not in the strike zone where it needs to be. There's one. Stay on there. Uh-oh. That was a weird bite, dude. It was like almost to the boat. Oh, stay on there. Yeah. Oh, come here. Come here. Yeah. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Yes. Yeah. Ah, another fat one. That camera boat driver's been a fireball all week. That's why we fish down by the dam. That's why we use the best equipment, because those fish right there, they study that bait. And if it's not perfect, they don't bite. Ah, they're all chapped and cold and beaten up. Oh, and I'm whining about it. Getting our hands bloody. Yes.
So that's 3 fish in the box, 2 the size that he needs if he's going to hold on to this lead on this final day. But here's someone that wants to upend that. Keith Combs had an incredible practice. We heard all kind of reports, deep cranking, shallow cranking a little, but primarily deep cranking, and everyone knows, and when it comes to deep cranking, Keith Combs is one of the best in the business. He said he had multiple 20-plus pound days during practice, has not been able to make that come together during the event so far, but this, the final day, Championship Sunday, Keith Combs is someone you know you have to look out for when he's got a crankbait in his hand. Things are picking up for him today. He said he needed clouds, he needed rain, and there's certainly more of that coming.
It's a big one. Do this down. Nice, nice, nice. Why don't y'all go back and get out there away from me? Yeah, bro. I don't want you on me.
Keith Combs, as the weather continues to deteriorate, they pile on more and more layers, and I'm wondering if the guys can even understand what he's saying, but I think they get the message. Keith Combs knows he needs room to operate at the maximum because it's going to take a maximum effort on this final day. That brings us to today's Skeeter Taste the Bait and Paul Mueller.
Well, Tommy, one thing we've seen watching Chris Zaldane, who had the lead coming into this final day, is that these fish have been extremely finicky. A lot of the guys thought that they just needed some rain and just needed some clouds like they had in practice when these fish seem to be easier to catch. But now it's about picking different baits. Here you got a Nico rig. Paul Mueller is around the fish. He's just trying a lot of different approaches.
They're down there. They're just real finicky. I've seen a bunch of them. I don't know if they'll still be there or whatever, but man, they're just real picky on what they want. There's like 4 or 5 of them up there, and they are so finicky. Hopefully it's a little bit bigger, but man, I tell you, finicky. 2 3/4, number 5.
Well, Paul Mueller is making a point there. I mean, the fish are plentiful here. There's spotted bass in this beautiful lake, but this lake is right adjacent to one of the major metropolitan areas in the United States. So, yeah, there is a ton of pressure here. The fish are super finicky, but these guys are up to the task, and we are far from being done this final day. First time ever for the Bassmaster Elite Series to come to here, Lake Lanier, Gwinnett County, Georgia. And look at the venue for the final 2 days weigh-in, Coolray Field. That's the home of the AAA Braves affiliate, just outside of Atlanta here. New stadium, very nice, very fancy, a great place to show off the skills of these great anglers here. And Bill Lowen proved he's got them on day number 1. Still stands the big bass of the tournament, 6 pounds and 14 ounces. For that angler, Stetson Blaylock having his best tournament ever as a Bassmaster Elite Series angler. Got him with the big bass of day number 2, 5 pounds and 6 ounces. Stetson pretty much staying with his jerk bait, that whole plan throughout the course of this tournament. He's had some ups and downs, but hey, he made it to the final day and hanging in there. Brandon Card, the Tennessean, hard to believe he's been out here 8 years on the Bassmaster Elite Series. Still think of him as the college angler made good, and he sure made good on day number 3, 5 pounds and 5 ounces. The crowd at Coolray Field getting an eye full of that, and Brandon prospering out there today, hanging in there at 7th place, catching some good ones every now and then. Got to pick up the pace, though, if he wants to get in the conversation for the winner, the second stop of the year. Clint Davis, Montevallo, Alabama, like Brandon Card, had a distinguished college career, having one of his best Elite Series tournaments ever for sure. And here's a guy we got plenty of looks at. For the first time ever on the Elite Series, though, this year, Chris Johnston, Canadian superstar, that is for sure. And an auspicious debut, only got closed out by Rick Clunn, finishing second down there on the St. Johns River, and obviously a very talented angler, he and his brother as well, making their debut this time around. And of course, we talk about Chris because 2 tournaments in a row, he has excelled. Chris Johnston on top of Toyota Bassmaster Angler of the Year points. Got Canterbury of Alabama, Lee Livesey, who's also leading, as we said, the Dick's Sporting Goods Rookie of the Year race. Patrick Walters, Drew Cook, having a great start to his rookie season as well. Just 2 points behind him. Well, we've seen plenty of him during the course of this tournament, having a great event here on Lake Lanier. David Mullins from Tennessee, and he's hanging in there in 2nd place right now. He could certainly pick up his first win here at Lanier.
Be a big one. I think he's hooked in the side. No, pretty good one though. Saw that little rock kick out. I was going to go down that bank and I looked and that little rock kick out underneath that tree. Need a big one, guys. One of them look like twins.
Well, it's the final day and you have to pull out all stops. David Mullins certainly has done that. He's gone from his crankbait spots to fishing jerkbait some, and now he's back on the upper end crankbait again. Speaking of pulling out all stops, Paul Mueller is back in the area that he caught a lot of fish, but he's been marking some quality fish here. It's the final day, the final few hours of this day. Time to settle in, be methodical with this swim bait, and hope that you can catch that one fish that'll give you the chance to lift that blue trophy over your head.
Yeah! 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 That's the kind we need right there. That's the biggest fish I caught all week. How about that for a Lake Lanier spot? Thank you, Lord. Oh. 5-pounder. Oh, baby. Thank you, Lord. Haven't caught one that big all week. Wow. Talk about a game changer, man. Now it's getting close. That's a good call right there, man. That's gonna call a 2 1/4. See ya. Thank you for joining us for a little bit.
Well, just what the doctor ordered for Paul Mueller. Those are the kind that'll get you to the top for sure.
Absolutely the kind that Chris Zaldane needs, with the clock ticking away and only 3 keepers in the boat so far.
I'm on. Wow. This one's swimming for deep water. Wow. Oh, digging. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Oh, it's coming up. Stay on there. 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 Oh, stay on there. Stay on there. Stay on there. Oh, yeah, baby. Yes. Oh, I'm Sparky. Yes. Oh, that one's for you, Trait. Yes. Oh. Oh. Yes. We're going for quality today. I don't need the numbers, we need those ones right there. A couple nice ones. We ain't done yet. Woo! Yeah. Oh, I love this finesse fishing. Yes. Made a lot of money with this spark shad. Spotted bass, smallmouth. Gotta have confidence that there's fish on the spot, and gotta make the right presentation. It's gotta cruise through there so slowly. Little 3-inch spark shad. 3/8 ounce head. A buddy from California sent me. Thanks, Dave. Gotta follow the wind.
Follow the wind and hope it leads you to a win. You're rapidly closing out this one on Lake Lanier.
The Toyota Bassmaster Elite at Lake Lanier is brought to you by Toyota, Yamaha, Skeeter Boats, and by Power Pole.
In the dugout there at Coolray Field, that's where the weigh-in is coming up for this 4th and final day, championship day. This event on the Bassmaster Elite Series Lake Lanier. Now it's time for our Yamaha Unlock the Lake.
Well, I'm forced to find new stuff. The last 2 spots I've fished were kind of my best deep spots. So I'm relying heavily this Lake Master map card, and I'm just running every tight lined point I could find in 35 to 45 feet of water, just chucking the swim bait out almost like I'm practicing. So there's a fish. Stay on there, girl. Oh, don't come off. No, don't come off. I need you. No, 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 no. Stay on there. Okay, number 5. Needed that one. It's not huge, but number 5. Now we're gonna roll back into our juice. Got 2 or 3 juice spots. I wanna win this thing for so many reasons, dude. I want to roll up some classic
with my chest like, sup? Sup? How you doing? Don't air that. Or are we live? Trait's gonna smack me. Sup? Oh, come on. Be the kind. Be the kind. Be the kind we need. They're small back here. But a cold fish. Slight cold. That's why you fish the main lake. As soon as you get back in these creeks, I mean, you catch little ones like that. So let's get out of here. It's crunch time.
Well, Chris Zaldain working feverishly to put something together here. It's either catch a couple of giants or upgrade slightly, and he's got it done right now. Meanwhile, Paul Mueller currently finds himself in second place. He needs to make something happen.
Look at this. That's pretty cool, huh? Let this fish go. Bluegill. I guess they don't just eat blueback herring. They eat whatever they want. Pretty cool. Problem is these fish aren't on the bottom, so it's not, if they're on the bottom, I catch them every cast. Because these fish are moving, they're curious to the boat, but they get spooked once they're under it. But there's several fish here, and it's just a matter of, making the right cast. Thank you, Lord. £4. 4 pounds. You got a bag now.
Well, Tommy, you can look at the expression on his face. He knows that fish gives him a chance to win. Hats off to Paul Mueller. He has adjusted every day. Little wind, and then today the wind blew, some rain, some sun, everything mixed up. These fish have been finicky, but he's been able to adjust every day and catch fish.
Well, he and Chris Zaldain, both these guys have given it everything they've got. It is so close. Flip a coin right now until we make it official, and that's what we're just about ready to do.
Okay. Boy, that was a key bite.
He's a former Bass Nation national champion. He's weighted the 5 biggest fish in Bassmaster Classic history from Connecticut, Paul Mueller. He's looking for 15-10, 18 pounds, 8 ounces, 18-8. He is your day 3 leader. Get loud from San Jose, California, Chris Zaldain. Looking for 17-8, 16 pounds and 9 ounces.
This was a grueling tournament, ups and downs. I had a bad day yesterday, but I overcame. I think sometimes God prepares you for certain things because it was a message for me just to never give up. Honestly, my wife is my backbone. She encourages me more than she realizes it, and it's through God. Without my parents, I'm not here. I didn't go to college. I wanted to fish for a living. I did it the hard way. Came up through the nation. If anybody thinks that this group of guys is easier to fish against, I've fished against other guys the last 4 years. Ain't any easier this year, I can tell you right now.
And what a great moment for Paul Mueller and family, this very, very talented angler from out of Connecticut. And just a great celebration. Started a pound back and collects his first Bassmaster Elite Series trophy. And Davey Hyde, everybody's been watching Paul Mueller through the years is pretty much been conditioned to think this day was coming.
Well, Paul Mueller is a guy that lives to bass fish. He just absolutely loves it. He's consumed by bass fishing. He's had some great finishes. The heaviest 5-fish limit ever weighed in a Bassmaster Classic. He's had some success coming up, won the Federation Nation. Great fisherman. And you know, you love to see someone hold the blue trophy over their head for the first time, but to see him and his family on that stage, certainly rewarding as a fan of the sport.
As we look forward to the Tennessee River in Knoxville, David.
Well, it's going to be an exciting event there. I think it will be probably our best Bassmaster Classic ever.
We're looking forward to it. We have full coverage for you right here, and we will see you there, Knoxville, Tennessee, for the Geico Bassmaster Classic.